Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday stream. Yeah, we seems a little depression and stuff is kicking in, as we can all test it, deal with it. We understand what it feels like. Before I get too far started, let's see who's in chat here. I saw Landa was here early. Hooked on Funk's here. Lady Liberty and Matthew Welch, Addie Tooney, Ern, Vaping Jedi. It's good to see all of you. And yeah, so a few things we go over tonight are going to make sense, but it's things that are overlooked because it's a matter of perspective. And quite often, perspective is really the hardest thing to change, but yet the easiest thing to fix. Um, if you're in a depressed state, your perspective is typically bleak and you focus on the negatives. It's just kind of a natural order of things. But when you can kind of lighten that up with simple little thoughts, it's not so much what your actions are, it's the way you think about when you're doing the actions. Just for one example, we know we all go to comfort foods occasionally when we're having a bad day. It's super common. Going to a comfort food, but trying to go to a comfort food that maybe reminds you of someone in your family, like something your grandmother used to make, or your mother or father used to make, whatever, even if it's on a grill, those type of things or something you used to do with them, if you can go into that mindset when you prepare for it and try to think of a happy moment when you enjoyed this with them or from them and put yourself into that and start thinking about that as you enjoy it, it not only brings out, like a surface level, but it becomes deeper and it sets in harder, and you maintain it better. It isn't like a fleeting moment. It'll tend to stick with you a little farther and pull you out a little better. Hey, Mallory, good to see you as well. So, when you're doing this kind of thing, it's not always easy. Hooked on Funk, actually, you might have been picking, but you're right. Some of the things are really difficult. Typically speaking, they do talk about changing habits and expectations. Your expectations, the real goal is to try not have any. Live in the moment, enjoy the moment, and try to relive moments in the past that were really enjoyable to you as much as you can, or create new ones that you know will be positive. Not so much expect to be positive, but you're obviously you expect them to try and be positive. For one, if you're getting into exercising and stuff to try and bring it out of it, don't think about what you're going to look like. Oh, I'm going to go for this goal. Think about the fact that you are going to be healthier, you are going to feel better. It might take time. You might be sore in the meantime, but try not to create a goal as much as just work toward that goal. I know it sounds kind of counterproductive, and if you're really pushing yourself, yes, it would be. But if you're doing it because you want to be healthier mentally and physically, you don't want to stress yourself out by creating a goal that maybe you might not meet, and then you get upset again and start to feel that depression kick in. So the goal is to get the exercise done. Leave it at that. The moment. Live there. Don't live it through what are you going to do in a month or two from now, where you want to be. I mean, having that goal is okay, but don't focus on that. Focus on, I'm doing my exercise today. This is the moment I'm doing it. I'm going for a hike today. I'm going for a walk. Yeah, positivity and positive. Yeah. It's hard to be positive when you're feeling down. I know a few people in chat have dealt with this. Hooked on Funk has already mentioned it. He suffers from seasonal depression. I do too. And mine's worse now than it used to be because of I have anniversaries that come up during that time period. My son's birthday, and not very long from now, I'm going to deal with the day he passed. So it's not easy to stay positive through those moments. So what you do is live in the moment as best you can, and maybe, if possible, think of a positive moment with whoever you're missing or whatever anniversary date is around it. Think of something positive that either counteracts or is a part of it. So you're not always, even if you're absorbed, you can absorb yourself in a fashion that doesn't suck you down into that deep depression, but rather it's a fond memory. It might make you cry. Let it out. Don't hold it. Thank you, Addie, for the links. It's really not an easy thing to do at first. But the more you practice it, the easier it is to continue to do so. It's all about thinking your way through it. And once you get used to that thought process of doing it, the more practice you do it over and over again, keep going with it. And this is just one of the things. Enjoy the small things first. Have the twinkle as extra. Yeah, yeah, exactly. If you go to a comfort food or something, enjoy it. And don't think about, oh, later I'm going to have to do extra. If you do that, that's going to destroy it. But if you are doing something like enjoying maybe some of these indulging foods, do it in moderation if possible, because the truth is later on when you start to get effects of maybe gaining weight or something, that's going to bother you inside, or maybe just not feeling well because of eating all some people don't do well with high carbs, some people don't do well with high fat diets. Fast food typically doesn't go well with a lot of people, so but it's also a nice comfort food every once in a while. Yeah, and yeah, having a stress-free job. If you can make changes in your life for the better, such as Ern getting that job that he enjoys, and it's stress-free, that is something that can completely change everything for you. Because your job is a place where you spend a great deal of your time. So if you spend your time there not happy, you bring that home and it weighs on you, and the longer you work there, the more and more it builds up. You ever see the person that's been working at like a factory or a paper mill or something for 20, 30 years? They're about to retire, but they're some of the most miserable people you've ever seen. Not all of them, but there are those. They're just miserable because they've never enjoyed their job. They're just there for a paycheck, and they spend all that time. And then even after they retire, they typically carry that on and are still that same negative kind of crotchety person. And that's something about holding on to that job that they didn't enjoy. Always look and see if there's something else out there that fits your love for what you'd like to do. If you can get a job where you don't feel like you're working, you feel like you enjoy going in, you wake up and you're happy to go, that's way better than even making, as long as you're able to make it ends meet, it's better than going out to a job that pays twice as much but you're miserable all the time. Yeah, snuggle up to a cat or a bunny, take a nap. That's a good one, Lady Liberty. Yeah. See, Ern, you sounds like you were on track for that grumpy old man syndrome, where in the end you just had it and you don't want to deal with it anymore. And that happens. I've seen so many people like that, and I'm able to break through those people. I've done it when I worked at the paper mill and I worked at different factories, including General Electric. When I worked there, I was able to break through to these people because I kind of understood where they were coming from. And it changes the way they think, and they don't feel alone. I was able to break through to these people because I kind of... Oh, he had a little bit of sound feedback. Hi, neighbor. So, yeah, cat and bunny. That bunny loves you, Addie. I don't... she just... It's weird. Same thing with, like, a lot of this family, at least the ones in chat for sure, are part of the vape fam. You know, having so many flavors available to you, especially if you do get into DIY or you know someone close to you that does DIY, you can get that same feeling without the guilt of the carbs. You can get those flavors. Most of them. Maybe not 100%. But if you DIY, you can always make that flavor your own. Like, make it like grandma's recipe. Maybe it's something that no one else really makes. You have to actually create it. And that can give you something to strive for, that in the end, when you finally hit that goal, you get that satisfaction of knowing you did it. How you doing, Duchess?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
Doing good. It's another beautiful day. In fact, I was out cleaning today, out in the storefront, trying to get that building there station cleaned out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, there's Jake. Scrapwood's in chat too. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
No, it's just, I mean, so many of us have had to deal with so much, and the vape fam itself knows that the stresses we've been dealing with, anyone who's actually any depth into the advocacy side of it, We've been dealing with a lot of crap this past, well, forever, but this past year has been really stressful. Still have no idea exactly what we're going to have to deal with in the end, and it can be extremely
I
scary.
mean, the only thing we can do is, you know, hope for the best, expect the worst, and just see what 2022 brings us. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Like the last 2 years have been absolute fucking dick. But I mean, 19 and 20, well, and now 21, so 3 years, right? And we're pretty much already through 21, so it's just like, again, we just got to kind of see if we can, hope for the best, expect the worst, always be fucking prepared, have a contingency plan, of course. Um, just kind of see where we go from there, and I'm not speaking directly on like the vaping front, right? Like that's with anything, right? Like seasonal depressions, the vaping scene right now, anything in your personal life, just have a fucking contingency plan. If shit goes, south, figure out how to make that motherfucker go east.
yeah, and live in the moment as much as you can. Enjoy it while we can, in case it does go south tomorrow. Prepare, but at the same time, enjoy it. Don't get so scared that you're not able to enjoy what you have for now.
Yeah,
And
100.
yeah, that is good news. Ern. That's really good news that the Michigan ban got rescinded. There are
Oh,
wins
thank you,
here and there,
JD.
but there are wins here and there. But the wins, we don't think about them because the losses are what we're worried about. So when we get the wins, it's like, yeah, but we still got to worry about this. That's natural. But please take part in that. Like Ern just said, that the rescinded ban, enjoy it a little. Take a moment to reflect on the fact that we did win that one.
Right. You know what though, Tim, and maybe I'm speaking out my ass, and I know that this is obviously easier said than done, right? Because it's obviously going to depend on your personality and mental, and all kinds of other factors that go into it. But I don't know about you, but I've always just been a person who likes to live day by day and let the wind take him where it fucking goes, right? And
Mm-hmm.
just blow with it. Because at that point, I don't, I, 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 I don't know. I feel myself to be more like open, right? And then less stressed about what's happening, right? Because then at that point it's just like, okay, well, I'll just face it head on when it happens. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I agree with
And
you.
then like,
I wasn't that person before. It took me a long time to get there where I could live more in the moment. The more in the moment you live, the more you can enjoy the moment and just not hold on to that anxiety, that depression. Those what happened yesterday was might have been terrible,
yeah,
but if that
because
doesn't
I see,
affect
I,
you,
I feel like I see way too many people that, and I get it, right? Um, things in life are stressful, right? Things get tense, and you kind of start to panic a little bit. But I feel like there's some people out there that are just like way too fucking uptight, and I'm like, okay, unwind just a little bit and just take a breath. You'll be fine. I promise.
we're
You'll be
finding
okay.
that that's really heavy in the advocacy side of it. If you're actually active in advocacy, it's tough. It's hard to take that step back because you want to just keep pushing, especially when it gets piled up and piled up and piled up. And it's like you feel like you're just overwhelmed with it all. But sometimes because you're so overwhelmed, you need to take a moment, do something completely unrelated to sidetrack you from the thought, and you go back
Yeah,
to it, and it'll be easier to think through a solution, something that might help or something.
yeah,
And maybe you
100%.
won't be able to find it, maybe not, maybe it's not there, but accept
100%.
that.
And with Ern, right? Like I agree with you, Ern. Fucking memento mori. Live every day like it's your last one because you don't know what's coming next. You know what I mean? So live in that moment, but try to relax. Don't be so stressed out. You know, the winter is coming, and we know this, right? That motherfucker's coming quick. But
Yeah,
just because the snows are about to fall doesn't mean that your life is about to end. I promise
no.
you.
And I
Go make
know
some
some,
snow angels and build Frosty.
and I know some of you might deal with. I know a few do deal with the like prior injuries, wintertime and fall. I ache. I ache through 3 seasons pretty much because I have had so many sports injuries. But the thing is, you can still enjoy yourself. Just there's where you don't make your expectations high. Because I know if I'm thinking logically, not just trying to push myself, that there might be days I cannot get the exercise in I want to because I might be just too sore.
Yeah, I
So
get it.
my expectations are if I can get through some exercise today, I go until I can handle it, and that's what I did. I did something. I worked towards my goal. Whether or not I made it towards my long term goal of what I want to lose weight, or if I wanted to, I don't know, whatever your goal is. If you want to fit in that swimsuit in the spring, that might be your long term goal, but focus on the short term goals. The fact that you did something towards it, and if you can go for a walk in nature, enjoy it. When's the last time someone walked out and started actually watching the leaves change, especially if you live in the north, where you just start to worry about getting all your fall chores done, maybe getting your wood in for the year, making sure you have money for your fuel oil. Take a
Right.
moment, walk out, enjoy the colors. Something we
Yeah.
forget about. And that's a kind of a way to look at life. Enjoy those things that you kind of ignore on a daily basis and you just so used to them and you're let all those positive things go right by you like you have blinders on.
Yeah.
Let them
100%.
let them
Also,
touch you.
I say this with the utmost respect and love, but Jake, your donuts in the snow. All I have to say is, holy shit, you fucking PBR drinking, Dodge driving, hillbilly piece of shit, bro.
What the,
Who the fuck does that? Really? Mud, I understand. Donuts in the snow? Nah, bro.
donuts in the snow is fun. It's a lot of fun. I suppose you've never driven a motorcycle in the snow too. That's a dirt bike or something. That's so
I
much
don't know. I
fun.
would just imagine that it would be way too fucking. It would be way too dangerous. You know what I mean, right? Because you've got all that packed ice underneath.
Yeah, that's why you live in the moment. You don't worry about that. You worry about you worry
Uh,
about the emergency room
that's
visit after the
that's a
fact.
little too close to the edge for my liking. Don't get me wrong. I will go with this. I'll go with the wind, but that's a little too close to the edge for me.
I remember one time we were in a school parking lot dropping off my little brother, and my stepdad was with me, and there was no room to turn around a parking lot. So I threw that
Right.
thing in reverse, turned the wheel a little bit, his front wheel drive car, locked up the emergency brake, spun the front end around, went right out the front, and he goes, "Oh!" But we made it out of that parking lot without having to do a 45-point turn.
That's fine. Look, I haven't experienced the snow like most of you guys have experienced the snow. So, like, if you guys say it's okay, then I guess it's okay, right?
Oh yeah, Ern's got a Subaru. He's fine as long as he has good tires. Yep,
Yeah. Yeah. He says in his snow tires, bro.
yep. Snow tires. As long you got snow tires, especially if they're studded tires, you've got an all-wheel drive. Unless it's in extreme ice conditions, you're fine.
Really, Addie? I had higher expectations for you.
Love you, Addie. Um, Speaking of donuts, true story. When my son was in Burlington Hospital, in a coma for 3 months, I went out and got permission to do figure eights on my motorcycle in the upper parking lot. Away from there was no cars up there. The cops showed up. Someone called the cops, and the security guard actually talked to them and explained the situation. He goes to the emergency room, and he told me afterwards. He said the emergency room is right there. What better place could he be if he goes down? So yeah, I mean, it was just something to try and sidetrack me because I'm dealing with my son was in a coma for 3 months. He wasn't supposed to ever wake up. I mean, when you're going through that, you need something sometimes, that meditation thing. And my motorcycle was always it, but I also didn't want to be far away. I didn't want to go for a ride. What if I got that call or something while I'm on that road
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere? That
Yeah,
I w-
100%. Also, I need you guys to stop using the word donut. All right, Lando might show up. Love you, Lando. In case you watch the replay.
yeah. Hashtag donut shop and
No, but I
spaghetti
mean
tacos.
that makes sense though, right? Like again, one, what better place to crash your fucking bike than right in front of the emergency room? And two, why go too far when I mean anything can happen in the blink of an eye, right? And it's just one of those things where it was like I guess at least I would imagine for you, right, that um it was just one of those things that like kept your mind busy, right, to not focus on what was happening and kind of just like enjoy things for at least a brief moment in time.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I'd already been driving in stunt shows previous 3 years with the Green Mountain Outlaws, so it was kind of normal. And doing figure eight, figure eights was just kind of relaxing. I had a nice open parking lot to do it in. It was just kind of nice, and I mean, granted, I tore my tires up and had to replace them after that, but
Yeah,
it
I'm sure.
just. And the guy actually, the security guard, really enjoyed watching me too. I think that's why he stood up for me. To be honest, he was just watching, like, hey, I get my own stunt show to watch. So
All right.
I don't know. For me, I needed something, and I was like, "Would you mind if I did that?" He goes, "Nah." That was right before they redid the parking lot, so they were already going to tear it down, so they weren't even worried about the tire marks. So it's like, okay,
All right.
drop some money
Well,
into Dad's Harley. Finally, there you go.
I
That's a
lost
good
my
idea.
mod.
No doubt that's here. Bay Area is out of control. Oh, wow, $1,000 minimum fine. I just got a
They're
ticket when
back.
I the last time I did a donut with a Firebird. Um, yeah, enjoy yourself. No, spend time with your family. Holidays are coming up. If you got family to spend time with, if you don't have family to spend time with, there's always people here in the Discord to talk to. And I don't mind opening up a Zoom and having a get together if we need one. If someone's going through a day without somebody, does somebody say donut? If nobody should have to be alone on the holidays, especially in this day and age when we can do at least virtual meetings and hangouts. You shouldn't have to
Mm-hmm.
go through that alone. It's tough. I mean, last year it fell on show days. My son's anniversary of his death and his birthday showed up on show days, and I went live for two reasons. One, to prove to myself that I could do it, and the other was it made me feel like things were kind of normal and less chaotic
Made
because it
you
was my
less
normal day
alone.
and less alone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely helped
Yeah,
a great deal.
and I get that, right? I mean, it could be big things like that. It could be even something small, right? Like recently, I told fucking for those who know him, I told Sewer Rug. His name is Matt. He's a friend of Seamus, our 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 most beloved wee baby Seamus.
Seamus.
Um,
Yep.
but I told him right because he got some new coils in and whatever else, and he was building his very first Mac, right? And I talked to him in the DMs, and I was like, look, when you get those, if you need help, I'll stay up as long as I fucking can before I obviously have to go to bed to go to work tomorrow. And I will sit there and I'll walk you through how to build that. So that way everything is completely safe. You don't have anything to worry about. And this way you kind of get into the swing of this is what it's about.
Yeah, helping each other. I mean, you've helped me a great deal a few times with things I was dealing with, and I've seen you help quite a few people. And the show you guys do, the I'm gonna say this wrong. You know the show
Putting
here.
wired.
Yeah, Codename Word. That's it. Um,
Yeah.
that
By
helps
the way, I
people.
won't be there this week for those that do watch the show. I have told the other my co-hosts, I have told the other members of the panel to continue moving forward without me this episode. So I won't be there this episode, but I should definitely be there the next episode.
Yeah, I had that in the description, Matthew, because I agree. one of the best ways to beat depression is to help other people when they're dealing with their issues too, because that gives you self worth. If you feel like you don't have any self worth because you're in that deep, dark depression, sometimes helping someone else can be like the salvation you really need to feel like, okay, I
Yeah,
did that.
100%. You know what though? Like, okay, so there's this anime that I'm watching right now. For those that didn't know, yes, I actually really do love anime. I'm a fucking total geek for it. But I was watching a new an anime called Fruits Basket, and in one of the episodes in season one, on episode 18, they actually kind of touched on, depression and self love and everything else. And one of the I can't remember exactly what it said, but I'll at least try to paraphrase as best as possible. Um, the letter that the teacher had written to one of the students, right? Um, at the end of this episode, that I think really strikes a chord and um, honestly needs to be said more often as we talk about mental health, is that what you really should be doing is being able to, and even though it's obviously it's really difficult when you're in that dark place, right? When you see no light at the end of the tunnel, and you feel like you're just stuck, the best thing you can do is try to find something that is positive about yourself, and then focus on that positive and try to build on that positive, because self-love is the most important love.
Yep.
That's pretty much what the letter said,
And
right?
on that
Because
note, one thing to
the
help.
student was being bullied, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it's like, yes, we understand that, you know, things can be difficult and you can get down on yourself, but again, self-love is going to be the most important love, even though it's really difficult to try to find one of those positive things about yourself.
I had one of those today. Um, Someone I helped uh, quite a few years ago now um, contacted me today. Helped her and her daughter because the daughter had been kidnapped, and I helped
Oh,
find
what
her,
the fuck?
and
Holy shit.
I got news today that she's finally, after spending a few years, ever since that moment, down with her father down south, finally moved back home with her mother. Uh, During August. It's supposed to happen before the pandemic, but then the pandemic kicked in, so that got postponed, and she finally made it up here. So I just heard that today. I heard from them, and just
Yeah.
hearing from them made me feel good. It's like something that it's also a reminder. I did something then that was helpful. That was before I ever started this YouTube stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
To answer your question, Jay, since you asked how would I tackle it personally, I want to give Tim also a chance to answer this question, even though you directed it directly at me.
yeah,
Um, Personally, for me, I mean, like Tim knows, I had a really, really hard time last August, right? That was a difficult time for me, right? Because something real bad ended up happening, which I'm not going to go into detail about right now. But um, my my savior has always been my savior has always been these little bad boys right here. This is my place of serenity. This is my place where I get to just let everything go, turn on some music on my computer, plug my air or hook up my AirPods, and just go to fucking town and forget literally everything. Like that's how I do it. I don't sit in voice chats. I mean, I have, don't get me wrong. And sometimes it's nice to have that company while I'm working. But for the most part, 90% of the time, it's just me and the music, and I just focus on the wire.
music is definitely one of those things for me. And I'm pretty sure hooked on funk. I'm sorry, but I'm assuming that actually is a big big place for you to go in your situation if you're dealing with some depression is music. And if you feel yourself falling deeper into depression because your choice of music is dark, which sometimes is good, but if you feel it's kicking in, or even sometimes the bright music can just be too much and it can overwhelm you and make you feel like you're sinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
get that a lot. Like I listen to primarily just metal alone. Like that's my happy place. I know it sounds weird to a lot of people who don't understand like why would you listen to music so hardcore? But that's just that's where I've always just liked it to be, right? That and I mean I read a study actually. I don't know how true it is to be honest. I mean I should probably read more into it. But there was a science study that was done where they said those that listen to heavier music, it doesn't have to necessarily be metal, right? But heavier music, hard rock or punk rock or metal or whatever you're listening to, those people tend to be um, the more happy, more positive people, right? Because you have that outlet in your music of aggression, so you
and
get it out with the music, and then you just continue on with your day.
my depression was so bad with my son, I actually went to a little bit of an extreme to help myself out of it because I even thought myself through this, which is weird. But I got these tattoos. This one was picked by my daughter. It's enlightened, and this is Zen for my son. And I did that because first thing you do if I'm feeling down is I put my hands down and I can see those, and it reminds me to pick my head up and try to find something else to do. I remember it makes me think of my kids. Next thing you know, I'm forcing myself to get out of that funk in some way. Do something. It doesn't matter if it's getting exercise, go for a walk. If I can and it's the right time of year, I will get on my bike, and that's still my Zen moment. I can get on that bike, and if I like to go on back roads, not real back roads, but some of the back roads you have to actually pay attention to watch out for potholes and stuff in the road and road hazards, because that takes my focus away. It's almost like super meditating because you have to pay attention. I'm not able to think about all the things that are bothering me if I have to focus on the road. So that's kind of my meditation, getting on the bike and just going for a ride. And ironically, the past like few years, it seems like every time I go on a ride and I'm in that mind state, I always wind up stopping by the graveyard and visiting my son. It's become a thing,
Yeah.
and it somehow helps me. I mean, I may get a cry out when I get there. It happens quite frequently, actually, but it's something that actually kind of lets it out so I can reset, get home, and I can start over. And that's a big thing. If you can reset yourself, like you were doing, it's not so much you're working on a positive, you're working on getting rid of that negative so you can think and start to figure out your way out of it and do other things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
not always, you don't
you
have to
gotta
go
find
right
that.
there.
Yeah, you just gotta find that zen. It could be mixing liquid. It could be building mods like Jake. It could be coils. It could be a project around the house, like you want to do some sort of like a self renovation. It could be automobile repair. It could be some sort of restoration, like whatever you got to do. Just find that happy place.
If you have a whole bunch of
But
addies, rebuild.
if your happy place just happens to not be working that one time, don't get discouraged. Call someone,
Yeah.
jump on Discord, fucking send an iMessage to your neighbor. Fuck, I don't know.
I've spent a few times in Zoom with Angela and with you and Liv, just listening to music. And because
Yeah,
and not and the thing is, this helps because if you're not choosing the music all yourself, quite often if you can do that, it makes you think of things outside of what you're trying to think. So maybe you need that little bit of outside perspective, even in a different song that you haven't heard for a while, or something you haven't heard before at all. I mean, sometimes when you're listening to like a random playlist with your friends, well, family in this case, as far as I'm concerned, it actually kind of opens you up, and it not only gives you the connection to the music, but also the connection to who you're there with. And that can be done on Zoom. or in Discord. It doesn't have to be face to face to make it
Yeah.
work.
I mean, we celebrated Kay's birthday on Zoom.
Yep. Speaking of, we're probably going to be doing something similar here on, was it 26th, I believe, or 27th? I don't quote me on which day that is, but Hope's birthday. So
26.
26th.
October.
Yeah. Yeah, she just
Yeah,
talked to me
time to
about
get
it today.
drunk margaritas again.
Well, she's been kind of having a down year, so probably let her celebrate her birthday. I mean, as many of you know, she's eventually going to be moving up here anyway, so it's kind of going to be probably kind of a thing anyways. But they've been dealing with a lot down there in Texas. Texas has not had a good year. They have had all kinds of weird storms. Their particular housing place has lost power numerous times, water numerous times just this past year. On top of her mother coming down with COVID at 75 years old, she, on her birthday, she had to spend it, kind of isolated in her room.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, she could kind of use a pick me up. So we were talking
Yeah,
about it
I,
today.
I definitely feel her there. Like that sounds a lot like me, right? Like I've been in this state for almost 3 decades, right? And honestly,
Oh, you
I'm
can plug
I'm
it, Hooked on Funk.
I'm gonna be point blank with all of you guys out there in YouTube land in chat. Arizona could suck a big fat dick. This place has brought me nothing but heartache, and I just put up with it.
Yep. Yeah, and
I feel like it's
yeah,
the same way for Hope that in all the years that she's been there, Texas has brought Hope and Kay nothing but heartache.
it does feel like, especially these past couple of years, have been just one disaster after another for them down there, and they keep on getting more and more isolated. Even and as things are in the vape industry have died down, that used to bring her a lot of joy, and now that's not bringing her joy, and we're seeing that a lot. It's really tough to keep a positive attitude when it feels like everything's crumbling around you. The things you used to love are become more of a like fear or an anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's common. We need to deal with these things, and she wasn't sure where she's going to go if something happened to her mother. So now that's out of her. She doesn't have to worry about that at least. But it's nonstop. Something's been happening, and honestly, nobody lives real close to her. They live near her, but not close enough to the point where they're stopping in to visit constantly. So it's tough when you sit there alone, just the two of you all the time, and a mother who deals with memory issues. It's and then on top of that, having to take care of a family member that has it and try and stay safe yourself. It's just insanity. And
Yeah.
losing water. The first day that the first day that she got diagnosed with the virus, they didn't have any water. All they could do is hand sanitize. There was no running water in the complex. It's like that would hit me with anxiety. I would be crawling up the walls. So the fact that she made it through that is pretty impressive. I mean, I got to give her some credit for the strength she had to get through that.
100.
Yeah, and Hooked on Funk, definitely go ahead and plug it. Vape Radio is alive. Keep it there. And if you didn't notice, you have the wrench, so you could plug it. So, yeah, it's definitely, and yeah, Philadelphia Fest. Michelle, and if anybody didn't catch it, Michelle actually did a tribute to someone just the other day on her YouTube channel, so go check that out too. There's been a lot going on. She just went through her anniversaries, one of her anniversaries, so send a little love her way. Don't actually get into it because that's not going to help her typically. She won't want to talk about it, but send her a little love. Just send her a heart or something like that. Just positivity.
Yeah.
It's that season where a lot of people feel it. I don't know how about anybody else, but it's hard even during like Thanksgiving and Christmas, because not just because of the anniversaries, but because there's less family every year. Even if you're a kid, as you grow up, there's less and less of the family that you're used to being around every year that are around. Eventually, you get to the point where you really miss a lot of people. Thanksgiving becomes more of a remembrance day. It's like a Veterans Day for your family in a way.
Yeah.
I feel it when I go to visit my family on Thanksgiving. And I am going this year. So and I know I'm going to feel it. I know I'm going to get there and I'm going to miss my grandmother. I'm going to miss my uncles and there's just nothing I can do about it. So, we just try to do what we can. And that's why this communication should always be open. There should always be people that can feel free to say if you're having a bad day, if you're missing people, if you just feel kind of alone. If you're feeling alone, you think that's what you need, but you're feeling worse the more alone you are, just try to talk to somebody. See if maybe it'll make a difference. If it doesn't, well, you say, I'm sorry, this isn't working for me, you can leave. No one's going to be mad at you. But if you don't try, you won't know. Quite often it's that need for like human interaction that you need, but you don't feel like you need it because you're so stuck in that negative thought process that you feel like you don't want to bother someone. But the truth is, I would rather you bother me today than not be here tomorrow to bother me. So please bother me.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's just and it's weird because Nick's not on tonight, so it's really strange. But I do know that there's going to be a little overlap with this tonight. But if he's still on, Legion's going to be on tonight too because he switched his times for not to interact with Nick's show. But he's on it. He goes on. I think he's already live. Yeah, he is. So I mean, there's going to be a little overlap tonight because of that. But no, that's it. Yeah, I don't want to bother someone. That's it. But the truth is, it's not so much a bother because you might be helping them. And that's the weird part that you don't think of at the time. You're thinking you're bothering somebody. If they're going through a little bit of a rough time, or maybe even not, they can walk away. You go and ask them to talk to them. For one, that's going to make them feel good that you felt like that they were the person you wanted to talk to. Secondly, it's going to help them to feel better about themselves. Like we talked about, helping someone else can be a serious, serious change in the way you feel. And I don't know about anyone else, but one of the things about fall that gets me is fall allergies. Anyone else deal with fall allergies? Wait until you get up here. We'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah, I can already start to feel my sinuses are getting clogged, and I'm starting to get like my headaches back and stuff like that from like sinus congestion.
Yeah, me too. And it happens every year, so I'm used to it. And if I take allergy medicine, it helps. But also, some of them can make you feel a little funny. It can make me feel groggy one day and hyper the next. I can't ever tell you what it's going to do because that's why I try not to take it unless I have to. And yeah, Adam, Secret Agent Man's in here. That's what they played the other day for his outro. The outro, he played his music, and it's like, yeah, that's Adam. Yeah, just yeah, the music right there. We've talked about Michelle already, and I saw that Addie put links to Michelle in chat. Listening to her live on the Doldrums, did anyone else feel? I'm pretty sure you did, Duchess. Feel it, like feel the like emotions from that.
What, the doldrums? I didn't watch the doldrums.
Oh, you didn't? Did you watch her performance for the Doldrums?
No.
Oh, it's worth it. Um, it just was and when like Adam plays his guitar in the after shows and stuff, and sometimes even in the lives, but. And I have a friend here that lives nearby that I always go visit, and he plays guitar a lot too. And hearing someone play live, it kind of gives you that soul warming feeling. It might not even be music you like, but yet you respect it because it's being played live in front of you. Something that during the pandemic we've had less of. Like they used to have like local concerts and stuff that people would do in different outdoor areas, and we haven't had that. So I was craving it more and more than I thought. Like many other people, like Michelle was saying when she was not going out as much because of the pandemic. Adam didn't have as many gigs during the pandemic. That hits you when you're used to it. Like Adam plays almost every day, and it's probably Michelle too. But playing with the venue at someone else is not the same as sitting at home just jamming. Bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's good to get out there and do what you can and see who you can and be kind to one another. And here's another thing: give a shout out. And I know I had Nightbot say it, but give a shout out and say how, check on people, and or just tell them you love them. People that in the community that may be going through something, have something going on in their life that just is overwhelming them. I know Hope's been dealing with that lately, and we have Fresh 03's been going through that lately. You know, definitely reach out to these people and let them know that you care, that you miss them. It's really important. We don't see that. This community is one of the best. The mental health aspect of the community is really good. It's always been there. I've been kind of pushing some more light on it, but it's always been there. This isn't something new. I've seen this happening in chats right along. You have people like Addie. How many years has Addie been sitting in chats and checking on people? Here's someone going through something and shout them out and literally like stop the presses and make sure they're okay. I've seen him do it many times. I went and made the shows based on that to try and help whatever I can. But it's been there. The community has always had that aspect. And as weird as it sounds, if anyone outside of this community had a mental health issue, I don't see hardly any of our community not standing there and saying, hey, what can I do to help? Because that's just the way our community is. And that's the way it should be. That's the way life should be. The world should be like that. And if you want goals, here's a goal. Here's someone who's been striving for a goal that you should watch and check out if you're really kind of curious. Matt Sinister. His exercising every week. He might have a long-term goal, but it's not so much he's hitting the goal. He's doing the same thing. He's setting his goals, but he's also doing it day by day, week by week, and just continuing that.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's just how life is going, and that's the way it should be. Don't set goals that aren't achievable. Enjoy the moment. He knows he's getting more healthy every week. He's getting stronger every week. He's shedding the weight every week. But he's not sitting there saying, oh, by next week I have to do this. He realizes it's gradual, but he feels better. And if you see the difference in him from when he started exercising this heavy exercise program to now, I mean, he used to be in pain all the time with his back, and now look how much better he's doing. I think that's an inspiration to many of us.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Hashtag be more like Addie.
Yeah, that's true. Hooked on Funk. Some shows haven't been that friendly, like UK shows and such, and that happens because people are stressed out. The industry isn't what it was. We're dealing with legislation all over the globe. And even when there's not legislation, you got like legislation in different areas will affect someone, especially if they're trying to make their own designs and get them out there, or want to give the input, or they're not getting as much product in. All this stuff affects everyone, and they're just lashing out because they don't like the change. It's highly unfortunate that happens, but it's common. I mean, it's just kind of how everything in life goes. People aren't doing well, something's bothering them, they tend to lash out. Especially if they've had like this gravy train of things working perfect for a long time, and all of a sudden, like, oh, that's done. Here in the U.S., we've watched a lot of companies have to fold. A lot of entrepreneurs that actually had brilliant ideas have to like close their doors. And it's been really kind of taxing on all of us. I know Nick and I talked about it. It's been taxing. Watching our friends have to shut down shop or go to a much smaller venue. Some of them are able to keep it alive overseas and still ship to the UK, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt their feelings and will not be able to have to tell the people they care about, no, I can't help you be healthier. I'm not allowed to anymore. That's rough. That's really rough. It's even trickled down effect to people like Ashton does his coding, but it's trickled down to that because there's not as much product out there to have coded.
Yeah.
So that trickle down effect's affecting everyone, even the ones that are just kind of trying to help on the fringes.
Mhm.
It's really hard to watch this happen, but we have things that have popped up, like Hooked on Funk on a vape radio kicking out. You know, I was really happy to see that happen. It's something that we have a voice, we have our own friends sending out, music to try and sit there and that's that random playlist a friend is playing for you kind of thing. It can seriously help you if you listen to the music, especially if it happens to be on a night when you know that the music tastes are similar to yours, but maybe not as spot on. So there's a few songs that you just wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
I find that on the '80s night, I kind of hits me pretty good. '80s, '90s. So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. Jay, to answer your question, I know you're asking Tim, but I think that's a bit of a gray area, right? Because here's the thing: we all obviously love and support each other, right? And so at some point, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe telling them off would work, right? But it's also going to come down to the person's um, persona, right? Like their personality itself. So, I mean, telling them off might not work, but at the same time, maybe part of it might be where you have to ignore it and eventually it'll go away. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you're just ignoring it, then there might be other people that are like, well, they don't do anything about it. They just ignore them. You know what I mean? Like, well, they're no fucking help because they're just gonna let it happen. They're just gonna ignore it.
Although the truth of the matter is, in bullying, that's what they want. They're looking for you to tell them off. They wouldn't be bullying you if they didn't want that. That's their goal. I won't give them that satisfaction. At most, they just won't be in chat anymore all of a sudden. If they have another account, that account won't be in chat. But I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of attacking them with publicly like they want because I don't. What's the point? Then they're getting exactly what they're going after. And all it does is get you worked up and make you act out and maybe say something you regret on your own stream in your it's kind of like coming into your yard and actually trying to make you do what they want and make you look bad. And that's what they're trying to do. That's the whole purpose. So, in the way I look at it, I won't tell them off because that's what they want for one. Secondly, if you know better and you know it's not true, why bother? Just if it's really bothering you, and you have the boot button, boot them. Then it's dealt with. Boot and delete if you need to. But I wouldn't bother giving them the satisfaction of being able to rattle your cage. Don't let them. It's you do what's best for you. Don't worry about what someone else is trying to push you into. It's tough, but that's what bullying is all about. It's trying to get you to do what you wouldn't normally do and hope for a reaction that'll really get rolling and maybe even start some kind of trend. It's a really difficult thing to watch. And it's tougher when you're watching, it's harder when you see someone else being attacked, someone that you care about being attacked. That's when it's even harder, and that's when you just still you giving them what you want. If they're doing that, they're desperate,
Yeah,
and they eventually
100%.
will get bored with trying because if you're not going to give them the reaction they're looking for, they're more likely to walk away. And if they don't, you just keep doing the same thing. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it's not going to be easy anyway. If you give in and you respond the way they want you to, they'll just keep coming back because they'll just keep on trying to get your goat. Yeah, humor is a good shield, though. It is. And it also, humor can be another thing. It can take your mind off things. Uh, anybody talks to Mallory, if you're into memes, oh, she will get you laughing. You can be in the worst mood ever. I can almost guarantee that unless you're in the worst, darkest darkness ever, she'll hit you with a note of adult humor, guaranteed.
God damn it, people! I told you to stop talking about donuts, otherwise Lando was gonna show up. What the fuck?
He actually did. And then he did apologize to you.
Go fuck yourselves.
You're kidding. What's up, Lando?
My blood pressure. What else?
Well, maybe you should take some Bayer.
Bear aspirin. Bear aspirin.
Oh, I'm not that damn old yet.
No, bear aspirin will lower your blood pressure because it thins your blood, slows your clotting factors.
Yeah.
That's how you can save your life. By the way, tip: it saved my life with my heart issue. If it wasn't for that, taking an aspirin, I would not be here right now. Literally, it closed up and then it let loose. Thank God I'm still here. Guess I had a purpose somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. Lady Liberty, like I I agree with you, right? But at the same time, again, on the other hand of it, some some people will be like, okay, well, they're not going to do anything about it, so why am I going to stop? I know for a fact I could just get away with it, so
Yeah, but they're gonna get away with it anyway when it's online. Now, there's a different situation. If the bully's physically in front of you, and you know that you're capable of taking them out, and you're not going to get in trouble for it, if you can figure out a way to not get in super trouble for it, well, that's a different story, and I won't tell you what to do. That's up to you. You make that decision. That's a little different. But online,
also disclaimer: we do not advocate any sort of violence.
no, no. But defending
These
yourself,
two might not, but me. Yeah. Anyways.
yeah, Mallory. If a guy remembers the color of your eyes at the first date, chances are you have small boobs. What? See, there you go. Adult humor, but there's some truth to that. Lando, you didn't even chime in on that. I thought for sure you'd go somewhere with that one.
Yeah, I already went there, but you guys talk too much, so I can't get a word in. Yeah, if a guy is looking at your eyes and not your tits, he's not interested in you. Just saying.
But haven't you heard the song Behind Blue Eyes? I mean, no, no,
No.
it's yeah. Um, who's oh that's right. Dog had a yeah dog ate too fast or something. I don't know, but some boys you just can't shake. Yeah, cat. Yeah, that's not bullying. That is begging. There's a slight difference there, but you guys. Okay, well that went sideways, but okay, it's a good sideways. Point is, just please take a moment and be in the moment. And it's the same thing with your bullies, though. Hooked on Funk. You know, you live in the moment. Live with what you know. Do what you know is right, and try not to let them control your moment. Be in control of your own moment. If it's your show or you're on a show, you know, I mean, obviously you can retaliate, but typically speaking, that's what they're waiting for, and they're gonna try and use that against you elsewhere. Like, oh well, check out what they did on that show. They tore someone up. It's very likely to happen that that's what they're shooting for. So giving into that can be have very negative consequences. So it's kind of a tough situation because at the same time you also want to stand up for those you care about. But if you do, then you get those people to respond probably even more negative the next time and attack even deeper. Bullying is a real definite thing, and with the seasonal depression kicking in and stuff, you really don't need that extra added push to go into the darkness.
Yeah.
Who here has who suffers from seasonal depression? I know I do. Do you guys feel it at all? How about you, Lando? Not too bad. No. Okay. See.
Mine is all around pretty much.
Yeah.
See, I don't mind going outside when it's a little bit nicer out, right? But I hear a lot of people that are, I mean, and it's all over the place, right? Like, oh well, summer's coming again. It's time to have summer fun. Let's go down to the beach. Let's go down to the lake. Let's go, do this, this, and this, and this. Uh, Not in 130-degree fucking weather, you're not.
Not unless you want to look like a lobster, right? I'm pretty sure you know what that's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, see, even though we don't really get like, we don't get fall, right? Like our trees don't change color. We don't get snow here or, anything else, right? But that summer is fucking brutal. And I mean, seasonal depression happens here too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
summertime
Like
can be a trigger as
you
well as winter.
can't go outside. Some people are allergic to that shit too. Like, okay, why? I don't know why people live here if you're allergic to it, but just saying.
That's true. People have skin reactions to it, and some people are
Yeah,
stubborn. Will go out in it anyway, knowing they're gonna get a bad reaction. That's the weird part. But depending on where you're at, and it does, and some like honestly, there's people like Bing Crosby. He was dealt with seasonal depression, but he was reversed. He loved winter. He didn't like summer. So,
mine's the same way. I fucking love winter. I hate summer.
yep. So seasonal depression doesn't mean one or the other. It means it affects you in one way or another. Mania can kick in either season for the same reason. And
Yeah,
these same techniques will help you stay out of mania. If you can live in the moment more, take yourself back and relax and listen to some music. If you feel your like self just you can't sit still, I mean, you choose to ignore it because you're feeling good, but you know that you're not quite right if you take a moment to pay attention.
yeah.
And
My
sometimes you
my
need
depression.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
my seasonal was like that too. Like when I lived in Texas, I fucking loved the winter. Holy shit. When it would fucking snow and it was cold as shit and we had to like go outside in 19 fucking degree weather and still fucking do PT in Texas. That was my favorite time in my whole life. But summertime when it starts to heat up too much, I'm like, fuck you, bro. I'm not leaving the house. Period.
Jay, almost every song he made was about winter,
Yeah.
and it was all like loving winter. Yeah, he was obsessed with winter and Christmas. He just was. He loved it. It was a true passion of his. And Jake, I don't know if it'll help you at all, but I will say the mod you just made and stuff. Yeah, I think it's friggin' amazing, and I love the fact that you do that. So even if you're just going through the motions, I hope that maybe a little bit of positive feedback will help you feel a little bit better about what you've been doing, because that's not something everybody can just do. So be proud
Yeah.
of that. Hence why he likes winter. Yeah, maybe he just got a lot of Christmas presents as a kid. I don't know.
Maybe. No, I mean, yeah, I'm like that too. I fucking love when it's like fall and winter time, my favorite time of the year. I can't stand I can't stand summer. I don't do summer.
At Mallory, that's quite common. Wintertime, older generations tend to pass more in the winter. It's harder on your body, and if you, especially when you live farther up north, it just that's tough. But actually, a lot of anniversaries are like that, and we got to remember, especially even if you didn't have those anniversaries, you still got Thanksgiving and Christmas, where it's family oriented, and you get there and that family is not there. There's always a positive because you're with your family, but there's always that little bit of empty feeling, the people that aren't there with you. And that's something that you should talk to someone about afterwards. I really enjoyed myself, but don't forget to acknowledge it to yourself. Say, I really miss them. And maybe take a moment, like within the next few days, and maybe go through a photo album or something. Get that cry out because you're feeling it. A lot of people
Yeah.
try to hide it and bury it deep down, but that's when it tends to fester and actually become something more than just a little sadness. Maybe take a moment, give yourself that cry or let out those emotions in one way or another. Talk to somebody that you maybe not at the gathering because that's actually going to probably cause just sadness for multiple people. But talk to someone afterwards, a few days afterwards or something, someone in your family or a friend, and let them know, I really missed grandma. I really miss mom. That's something you really need to be honest about. Because if you don't put it out loud, it becomes something that sits in you and doesn't ever get a chance to be released. Valerie. Mallory. And I came out Valerie because I saw the V and then it added the Mallory. But, yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't think that'll go too well.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
I don't think YouTube would like it. I think the rest of us would probably tune into it if it could, but because it'd be interesting.
I would.
Yeah, I'd check it out, but it's probably only gonna be a one episode ever, and then it'll be gone. But
I mean, fuck, I'll watch it. Is Lando's left nipple gonna be there? I'm down.
No.
I'm
just the
fucking
right,
down.
just the
Fucking
right.
about it.
Oh, neither of them.
But no, be a part of each other's lives, help each other, reach out to people. It'll help you as much as it helps someone else. I see it in the Discord often. And it hasn't been hopping like it was. Like last year, this time, you saw a lot more of it. But you're seeing it when it happens. It doesn't take long, and that person tends to be helped and then feel a lot better just by knowing they're not alone. And it doesn't seem like people are going through as many crises as fast. I love to see that when it happens.
Larry.
Well, there's no recipe for anything, Jay. Everything is all dependent on what works for you. It might be a complete opposite of what anyone would think works for you, but if you find something works and helps you, make you feel better, and it's good for you, then enjoy it. Don't let anybody tell you it's wrong if it's actually helping.
Yeah.
That's something else. I mean, so often we worry about what others will think. Just like with the bullying thing, we worry about what others are doing. Don't let that bother you. If you know what you're doing is right and what you're doing is what you want, your passion, don't let anyone take that away from you because it's yours. You own it. It's a part of you and it's something to be proud of. Look, there's a kitten named after you, Lando.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay.
Foster kitten, Lando Lakes. There you go.
That's a dope ass name, bro.
There you go. Adjusted your expectations on the 4th. Yeah, I know. Expectations and your perception. Perception is like 99% of what the issues are. If you look at the world as a negative place and only look at the negative, that's all you see. It's hard sometimes to take that step back and see the positives. As often as we think everything's over, and here's a real good example, end of a relationship. How often does that go to, oh my life is over and done? Look at the positive side of it. If you guys haven't been getting along for a while, maybe this is the best thing for you. Not just them, but you. It might be the right choice. Obviously, if that person's not happy being there, they're not nothing but probably make your life miserable in the first place. So you might better move on and focus on either yourself or a new relationship later on, once you've healed. You might find out that you don't want a relationship for a while because of that pain. That's okay too. Make your decision according to the way you feel. Yeah, it is. It's good to have this type of family around. And it is a family. There's too much caring for this to be just a community. It's went beyond a community a long time before I even got involved in it. There was a time when this was natural before, back in the early teens, like the early 2012, 2013. This is the way this family treated each other. It was all positivity, helping each other whenever they could. And then it went a little bit sideways for a while. As legislation kicked in, as people were just trying to come in and make a quick buck. And it saw go away a little bit. But now we're going back to grassroots again. And I think it's the best thing, in a way, that could have happened to our community. It's not good for those that we can't help. It's not good for, trying to get what you need. What it is good for is you're seeing the true people that really care still there, still helping one another. You're seeing more of the real family. It's not the community anymore. It was a community for a while. Now it's back to being a family again. Yes, there's a few people in the family that are a little bit, on the angry side and acting out. It's unfortunate. There's some people just like to watch the world burn. They like to get things started. They find humor in, picking on people, getting them riled up, and tearing them down. I personally think that that's sad. Sad for them as well as you.
That's dumb. Why would you do that?
There are people that do it, and that's what they find humor in. But that tells me from my experience with the actually being a counselor that someone is dealing with their own issues, their own outlook on their own life, and the way they feel about themselves. Typically, those are the people that actually have personal problems in their own life that they just never resolved. So they just try to push it off on someone else by acting out toward them and tearing them down. Because somehow that makes them feel better because, hey, look, my life's not as bad as theirs because I made it that way. And then they're proud of it on top of it. That's a terrible thought process. And that is not the way the world should run. The world should be a positive place. We have enough negativity with real things going on. If you're going to get sick, if you can't travel somewhere because of a restriction, you can't see your family, you can't talk to someone for some reason. Someone goes in the hospital, or a lost loved one. Now, these things happen constantly. We have enough negativity in this world. We don't need to add to it. There's no reason for it. In fact, that's how they've kind of controlled us as far as legislation, is they keep us circling our own tail with that same theory. They get you so hyped up on something, you chase it, even though you know it's not true, so why are we bothering? That's been proven. Move to something that actually matters. I saw that with that nicotine movement. Everybody went out to jump on that nicotine train, and the truth of the matter is, it's simple. It's no more harmful than caffeine. Same people trying to fight this are the same ones that will be the first person to go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts every single day before they can go to work. It's like, point that out, move on. Don't let them absorb you in it. Focus on what really matters. The proof of your story, the proof of, there's enough medical records out there. If everybody actually submitted medical records to how much their lung capacity has increased, how much better their life is, that's something that can't be denied by any test. And it can't be denied by any politician. Hey, I'm healthier. You can't prove that wrong. It's not in a test that someone could have faked. And that's just the fact. That's actually the strongest thing. And even the politicians I've talked to said the same thing. So on the advocacy front, take pride in yourself. That's where you got your power. That's where they'll listen. There you go, Lando. Yeah, we're recording tonight, by the way. So, yay! So, yeah, and it's just thank you guys for being here tonight, too. It really means a lot to me. I did get a little choked up a minute ago, and I never got my voice back. Because talking about the lost loved ones made me actually think of what it's going to be like this year at Thanksgiving. Because I'm actually I know ahead of time, I'm going to have to prepare myself for not having everyone there.
There's no crying in baseball.
Yes, there is. Have you ever watched the Cubs play? Sorry if anyone's a Cubs fan, but it's true.
In case anyone didn't get the reference, it's from a movie called A League of Their Own.
Yeah, great movie. Yeah, Toonie, I love you. And yeah, there's positivity like that. Addie's mother coming home. There's things that happen. Enjoy that for your friends and family too. If you see something else having positive in someone else's life that's going really good for them, like Duchess, your move. I'm happy for you. You've been thinking about this for a while, and you're finally doing it, and that makes me happy. I really hope everything works out the way you want it to, and I wish you well on it, and I can't wait.
Trust me, it will. I am a very stubborn person.
And Meter. Punchy Kicky tonight, too, on Meter's channel, if anybody's into that.
I'm about as stubborn as Lando saying that he doesn't like custard.
Gave in
before he tried custard
and decided he liked it.
I mean, Let me clarify that before he tried the custard.
I called that. I knew he was gonna like it. Part of it is you. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what it is. Everything's according to taste, and everything is different. And enjoy your taste. Try new things. Try a new
Yeah.
food every once in a while,
If you
even if you
haven't
tried
tried
it
it, go
before.
get it. Go get it.
You
Yeah,
bastard.
you mean that one? Yeah. Okay.
I hate you
Yeah, that
both
one.
now. All I have is this one.
Or maybe this one. So
Yeah,
No,
this
I'm
one.
good. I'm good.
or chocolate frozen creamy balls. Yeah.
I mean, you could
Or
also
strawberry cheesecake, which I'm damn near out of.
Or a pumpkin bread blueberry jam sandwich. Or an amaretto ice cream, an amaretto cherry ice cream sandwich.
also get this one.
Oh, here's this.
No, just be positive for one another as much as you can. Help out and make sure you put your stories in whenever possible. If you do message a politician, don't cite off what research papers and stuff like that and a different bunch of like tests and stuff because we've learned that actually does not work. Talking to politicians, none of them want to bother spending that much time on one bill. So you need to hit them at the heartstrings by telling them your story or the story of your loved ones. Maybe explain to the fact that like in my case, my family, I've had a lot of family that have died from lung cancer that were smokers. So for me, it has a personal meaning, and that's the reason it's there. I mentioned that to a politician in New Hampshire, and it actually backed off the bill for a while, and that was the turning point. Was when I talked to him in the hall and I talked to him about that, and he's like, "Oh, that makes sense." It's like you gotta tell them these stories and let them know the reasons why and the fact that it is healthier. People that are healthier. If you had someone come in your shop like we had, that old guy that came in that used to do triathlons who couldn't walk up a flight of stairs before he started vaping 2 years before. And then he's doing triathlons. If that isn't a sign that it's healthier for you, I don't know what is. I mean, that's kind of like proof in the pudding right there. So.
Mm-hmm.
What? Raja following? What? I missed something here. Yeah. There are the politicians that are corrupt. There are definitely, or have an agenda for some other reason. There are those, but there's also those out there that just don't know any better because they don't want to bother doing the research because they don't have the time and there's research on both sides and they don't care. So their best bet and your best chance to persuade one to your side is to explain what it has done for you or your friends and loved ones, and that's just the truth of it. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard, but don't let them sidetrack you in the media to talk and fight on something that has been proven wrong. Popcorn lung, it's been dealt with. Simple answer. They start you off on it. That's been disproven. Move on. Because if you get into it and start spouting details, you're wasting your time. And here's what they start to hear the peanut gallery. You've ever heard the teacher on peanuts? After about 30 seconds of you talking and explaining that study, that's what they're hearing. They're not hearing you. You can watch, if you watch their eyes, you can watch glaze over. 30 seconds into it, all of a sudden they're just like, okay, this again. And they don't care. That's where the shock and awe of telling your story really makes a difference. All I heard is, what? That's all. Yeah, jubbies for life, right? That just.
Yeah, bro, jabbies for life.
Speaking of, I don't see a Derek here tonight.
Don't bring them cubbies near me, all right? I want them jubbies.
You see, Derek's not here tonight. He was in charge of spaghetti taco stand. So if anybody is hungry and didn't get their spaghetti taco, let Derek know you love him, and next time maybe he'll show up.
Yeah. Also, if you want spaghetti tacos, then head over to Lady Liberty's house. She said that she's more than willing to make everyone spaghetti tacos that wants them.
Let's see how long that takes.
3, 2, 1. Fuck you, Duchess.
Well, I didn't hear it. I was actually quite expecting that to be a response. She's probably sending you something on a different social media by this point.
Maybe.
No, it's important that we do all these things, advocate, and not just for anything you believe in, including mental health. Advocate for each other, advocate for yourself, and if you can, so you do see a bully, and it's a situation where you can speak up. Sometimes it's actually when chat speaks up is more effective than the person that is on screen, because the person on screen speaks up and they're getting the reaction they want. Someone in chat speaks up, that's kind of out of control, the person that's on screen, but yet it makes the other person feel like they shrink, their ego shrinks when they're not being attacked by the person they're trying to get to attack, but being attacked by others. That sometimes really makes a difference too. Lando looks tired already. So
yeah, Lando looks exhausted. I'm exhausted. Yep. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hungry.
Right, we'll call this in just a minute here.
See,
I just
there
wanted
it is.
to,
it's in chat. Fuck you, Duchess.
She is making spaghetti tomorrow night, yeah. But somebody's getting lasagna. Homemade lasagna? I haven't had homemade lasagna. Oh. Has she ever made me? I don't think she's ever made me homemade lasagna. That's not fair. But but yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I mean, I can't wait till you're up in this area. It'd be nice to be able to visit more of my friends. I wish this country was smaller. And to all those traveling, by the way, to go to Texas, have a safe trip. You as well, Duchess. Yeah.
Also, Lady Liberty, I want to show you the face of someone who cares. You ready? You're welcome.
Okay. Excuse me. So, since Duchess goes last, Lando, what do you got coming up, or where might people be able to find you?
As always, that's Lando.715 on Instagram. Like Tim said earlier, me and him are recording a new episode tonight, so that'll be out on Saturday morning. Yeah, we got a Discord for the podcast as well. It's on the Linktree account labeled Discord. You can find me on there. You can find Tim's stuff on there too. So yeah, we're on pretty much every platform that has podcasts on them, so it's easy to find us. And what the fuck are you laughing about now?
Duchess and Lady Liberty. Duchess and Lady Liberty going at it. And since Duchess likes to go last, so I'll let him, and I'll just say you can find me on most social medias at An Advocate for Liberty on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and as well as here we had the Break the Stigma of Unity Discord, and on Sundays, quite often lately I'm on Zippy's channel for her mixing show, and then Mixers Helping Mixers on Trucker's channel, and then Tuesday nights I am on with Larry and Meter with Holding Down the Kitchen while Fresh is away, getting better. And then Thursday night here, and Saturday night we do a game stream that try and let people blow off some steam, which I have a feeling we're gonna need. And I did get some new games so we can play more, so we don't have to play the same games.
Dude, and I can stay up later this Saturday.
Nice. So this is gonna be a fun day. But yeah, and
I'll work on Sunday.
That being said, Duchess, promote whoever you feel like being nice to today. Go ahead.
All right, so first and foremost, obviously, shameless plug for myself. Once I finally get sorted out with what I'm doing, because everything is already taken care of, it's already back in stock, etc. I'm gonna take care of the MTLs. Oh, which people, in case you didn't know, yeah, there's MTLs that are being added to the list. Surprise! I know I haven't really told anybody. Um, I do only have, I think, 12 pairs available as of right now. So be kind, right? I mean, they go a long way. So I mean, look, if you want to order multiple coils, then do so, right? That's fine. But again, they do, uh, they do go a long way, right? So those are being added to the list. But once I get everything sorted out, so hopefully within the next, I would say, week and a half ish, I should be all set up in order to start sending things out again to people. I know that they have been missed. I've gotten a lot of DMs, a lot of fucking DMs. Um, so that'll start happening again soon. Codename Wired again. I know I mentioned it earlier, but that is this Sunday. We do a show every 3 weeks apart from each other. So there's one this Sunday on the 10th, and then the next one I think is either at the end of this month near Halloween or the beginning of November. I have to look at the calendar again because I don't know the exact date to be honest. But the my two fantastic co-hosts, wow, Cloud Cartel UK, aka Sloan. He is selling his coils again, so if you do want to pick up some coils and you're okay with the really long wait time for them to be shipped from the UK for those that are in the United States, then I promise you they are 100% fucking well worth it. That dude makes some fucking killer fucking coils. So go support him. That's at the Cloud Cartel UK over on IG. You can hit him up and send him a message in his DMs and order some coils. I do know that he has a website. I think it's the cloudcarteluk.com. And the link to his order page is on his website. You can also go pick up some juice and or some liquid from juice and or coils from our very wonderful clown, aka Jay. He does mixing it up every Tuesday over on the KVTV YouTube channel with our always amazing Uncle Chris, aka Overdrip, and Seafood Mustache. So go support those guys. Um, I know that again for myself, if you haven't followed me already and you want to, then you can find me at Duchess_Coils. And then that link will go back up real soon on my IG page, so that'll be taken care of. Otherwise, I know a lot of us out there do partake, so make sure you go support the Shed Time boys over at shedtime.com or Shed Time Podcast. I'm sorry, shedtimepodcast.com. Your one-stop shop for all things Shed Time. If you need anything done for your multimedia purposes, though, then go hit up shakeabigmedia.com and or you can follow I'm_Anthony Romello over on IG, and he'll get you all taken care of as well. Otherwise, that's it for me, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. Peace. Much love to everyone. And vape like royalty.
Oh yeah, hold on. Vape like royalty. So I was gonna plug it with plug.
Oh no, I don't use Twitter, Jay. Fuck Twitter. That place is a cesspool.
Yeah, you guys, everybody, have a great week. I'll see you guys, some of you this weekend, and just stay positive. Don't let yourself get down. If you do feel down, please reach out. And reach out to those you know are struggling. Love you all. Bye.
Peace.